Hello everyone, welcome. This is SharePoint Power Hour. This is a weekly live show that we do every single Wednesday at 11 Central. Power Hour is about business solutions in SharePoint and Office 365. Kind of the whole point of Power Hour is that we do discussions and demonstrations of things that you could do in SharePoint without being a programmer and without being a hardcore server administrator. It's all the other topics that fall around those two categories, outside of those two categories. So this is our 72nd episode that we're doing right now. So we have lots to browse in our YouTube channel. It's the SharePoint RAX channel. And I'm Laura Rogers, and this is my team at Rackspace Hosting. This is sponsored by Rackspace. And so we usually just kind of take turns, doing demonstrations of things. And before I kind of, get everybody introduced, I'll let you guys know kind of how this works with being able to interact with us, because that's the whole point of being live, is so that you can ask questions as we go. So if you're watching this on YouTube, of course it streams live and it's recorded, you can see it later, but you're going to have a little yellow link that can take you over to the Google Hangout. And the Google Hangout is where there's a Q&A app. So it's a little bit confusing because when you're looking at the Hangout, by default the app that shows on the right sort of pane on the screen is a little showcase app where we share links with you. But if you see like a little section towards the top right with several little squares, that gives you the ability to toggle between apps, and that will let you go over to the Q&A app. And we'd love you guys to ask questions, give us feedback the whole time. We really enjoy that. It makes it a lot more fun being interactive. So we'll go ahead and, again, I'm Laura Rogers, and we'll get everybody to introduce themselves going down the row. So Kevin, I know your video is not on, but I'll let you talk anyway. Kevin, then Ryan, then Stephen, then Tavis. And I'll let you go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kevin Hughes. Sorry my video is not working today. I'm a SharePoint architect here at Rackspace, based out of Kansas City. My role on the team is to visit with our clients, figure out all their needs for computing solutions, and see if we can't deliver those in SharePoint and try to make it happen.
All right, cool. Ryan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan Keller, based out of Colorado. I'm the branding guy on the team. I've been working with SharePoint for, many years now, kind of starting to lose track. Since the year 2007 and the version 2003. It's still early, so I have coffee. That's me. It's still early for me.
All right, Stephen.
Hi, I'm Stephen Wilson. I'm a member of the SharePoint Business Solutions team here at Rackspace as well. I do some of the hardcore admin kind of stuff and some of the things with PowerShell, but I also help introduce customers for the first time when we set up their farm. If they've got some questions about how should I do this in SharePoint, I usually give them the bad news because they've already started down some other path, and then I tell them, no, you probably should have done it this way. So I get a lot of those conversations.
Okay, cool. Tavis.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tavis Lovell, and I'm the BI dev on the Business Solutions team, so I deal with all things reporting inside of SharePoint, things like Excel services, reporting services, Power Pivot, Power View, all those kinds of cool things.
And database guru, just all around.
And some database stuff.
I'm Laura Rogers. I'm a SharePoint MVP, and I've been using SharePoint for about 10 years, and my background is in server administration, but kind of just moved away. Server administration is not as fun for me, so I do more of the, helping people figure out business solutions using out-of-the-box stuff. So pretty much everything we talk about in here, and we'll shout it out if it doesn't, but pretty much everything goes across from SharePoint to Office 365. And so the demo I'm going to do today is in the SharePoint store. So you could do it in on-premises or Office 365 as long as you have the SharePoint store, which is the App Store. So we have a series that we've been doing we've done 4 so far of forms product comparisons, because as a InfoPath guru, I guess, and I've written an InfoPath book and all these out-of-the-box solutions. People are constantly asking me, what do we do? Microsoft's taking InfoPath away from us. They said it's got a end of life is in 2023. And so what do we do? What do we do? And so that's why we're doing this series, so we can see what some of the third-party options are, because Microsoft does not come out with a new, this is the new product, this is what you use instead of InfoPath. That doesn't exist yet. So people want to know, a lot of people want to know now what they should start doing. So we did 2 different power hours on InfoPath. So we did just basics, just customizing a list form, and we did form library form basics. But then we did a power hour on K2 App It, which is an app from the App Store that you can put as an app in your App Store. And we did Nintex Forms, which is also an app in the App Store. So in this episode, I'm going to demonstrate 2 Forms products from the App Store in Office 365 that I've been trying out. So sort of the whole gist of the way we're doing these demos is not to just do like a salesy sales spiel about these products. It is to see how it is to use the product as a form designer, and how it is to use, to fill out forms as the person filling out, your end users, and what that experience is like. So as I'm going and as I'm clicking around and figuring these out, I'm making comments about what I do see or what I don't see, or what I can't do, or what is not obvious. So it's going to be a lot of just, the whole point is that I'm not experienced in these products, and I'm trying to, of course, a lot of my basis is I've used InfoPath for so many years. A lot of the functionalities that I look for are, things that I'm used to being able to do in InfoPath. But so that's kind of where some of the basis of where I'm coming from is. But I also think that people who are new to Office 365 or new to SharePoint, you should be able to pick up one of these products, and for it to make sense to you, and for you to be able to easily customize some forms. So that is the way I'm demoing these products. So I've spent just like half an hour or so on each of these already, just kind of getting a little bit of a feel for them. But excuse me, the point is that it's not. This is not like a salesy demo. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. And you guys in the chat window, or my coworkers here, and you guys who are watching, feel free to shout it out, ask questions, make little comments in the Q&A, and let us know what you think. So hopefully you can see my screen now. All right, so this is a website that I've used for previous demos. It's a little new hire, a little HR onboarding new hire solution that I did in some of our other previous power hours. But I'm just using this site as the place to demo these products. So what I've done is I've gone to the App Store and I clicked Add an App, and I went into the SharePoint store like this, and I looked for Forms products here. So some of these Forms products that it shows you, it's not showing it yet. Some of them or a lot of them are just like a quick feedback form, or a quick form that doesn't really give you any sort of customization at all. So I'm not demoing every single one of these, but Flex Forms is going to be the first one that I demo. So that's where I found that in here, and that's just free. So we'll go ahead and go back to my onboarding site, and when I go to my it puts the Flex Forms over here in the quick launch, so that because it's now an app on my site. Now it's got some samples in here for me to be able to see existing forms that they created. So it came with some samples, so that's nice, and then it has the ability to create a new form. So before I create a new form, I'm going to go in here and just look at some of these samples. So I'll go look at Employee of the Year, and so here is the form design surface. All right. So it's got some text boxes and drop-down boxes and things like that, a little horizontal line, and it looks like it lets you put things next to each other on the surface and stick an image on there. You can even do an attachment, and then it's got some buttons at the bottom. So reset, cancel, and submit nomination. So let's see what some of this stuff does and kind of see how you get around in here. All right, so I have text and images up here, which allow me to go insert things onto the form. So I guess I would drag it. So I drag something from up here to be able to stick it on the form. So that's good to know. If I want to put a heading on here, I would drag it to where I want it to go. So text and images is more going to be like just hard set things that are in the form that aren't dynamic. And then inputs are going to be the things, excuse me, that people fill out when they're filling out the form. So I've got, and then once I have my inputs on the form, that's when I have a few more settings over here on the right. So if I click name of nominee, it lets me expand that box. It lets me do some things with it. So I can go put some help text along with it. So what is their name? And I can even do like, let's see, John Smith, and that's a placeholder text. So it would, like, it's giving them an example of how to type a name in there. And that's cool because InfoPath only has placeholder text for the filler forms and not the browser-based forms. Validation. So basically it's saying that it's required, and it says, and it lets you set what the error message is going to be if somebody doesn't fill it out, and then your maximum number of characters, and then just some easy, width and height stuff. So I wonder why these are all grayed out up at the top. That's interesting. All right, so category is a drop-down box. So this gives me a few other little options in here. So it can see that the options that are in this field are coming from the list itself. So that's why some of these settings are grayed out, probably. But it lets
I wonder if you need to unpublish.
Unpublish it? Ooh, that's a good point. Let's see. So it's saving it and unpublishing. Or you lose all data submitted. Okay, sure. Okay. So it's reloading it. Good idea, Stephen. Let's see if that worked. Oh, yeah, look at that. So I have to unpublish it to be able to go change stuff around, I guess. I also have form properties. So this is one of the really common things that people want to be able to do, I've noticed, in forums, is just give it their own company colors and stuff like that. So that's a nice little functionality to be able to change the background color. Some of the other forms that we demoed didn't give us that option at all. So this even tells you submit to list, submit to email, or both, and it lets you say a specific name or email address to submit this form to when it gets submitted. Okay, that's interesting. We'll see where that comes into play. Ooh, look at this. We even have a list of U.S. states and a list of country as a pre-populated drop-down box. So that's nice. So, like, what if I take URL and drag it onto the form? Let's see. How does it let me? Oh, look. So I can just put it anywhere. So that's nice. So a lot of these form products, you have to put stuff like just kind of down the page or down the row. But this is like a just big free-form, surface that lets me go stick fields wherever I want to put them. So it could get messy, though, doing that, because things aren't, they could be not aligned like you want them to and stuff like that. So that's good to keep in mind. I'm going to get rid of that. And then we've got, again, so different fields give us different types of fields give us different options in here as to what it's going to do. Okay, so now these options lit up since I unpublished it, like Stephen suggested. And then you can even change what this text says. So you can say, like, pick one, make it say something else. And, of course, here's your size and stuff like that. Okay. So then buttons, what does this do? Submit, cancel, or reset. So the submit nomination, it just basically you can set up, what you want the text to do. Now, do I do have the ability to align things wherever I want to put them. What about, let's see, having different views or having any kind of, showing something only according to some other value or something like that? I don't think it has that. It has this little I agree thing, which looks like it's a checkbox. Could put that there. But it doesn't really, Yeah, so maybe that's just one of the things that we get with it being a free product is you don't really get the ability to have rules like if I do something here, it will, if something exists or value is this, it completely hides it or not. But the validation rules are really helpful, and just the ability to go in here and pick your colors and make things be aligned where you want them to be is really nice. So like this Employee of the Year nomination, can I make this bold or anything like that? It doesn't really have like a text editor like where you can go make the text bold or different colors and stuff like that. It's pretty much you can do your background image and your title, but you're not really programming what any specific colors for any like individual fields or anything like that. So I wonder if email, we can say email must be specified, but it doesn't really have like it has to have an email format, you know what I mean? So that's interesting. All right, so what happens when we'll go ahead and publish this. I can preview it too, so previewing is a nice functionality. Okay, so I published it, and now it's reloading, and all that stuff's going to be locked down probably. All right, and then I'll go ahead and close that. Now let's go see kind of what that's going to look like. So how do I go fill out the Employee of the Year? So if I click on this, it takes me to the design view because that's where I was a minute ago. So I'm not going to click on this. So this was something that baffled me earlier when I was kind of playing around with this and just trying to test it. Was once I created a form or filled out or edited the sample, where do you just fill it out? So I can do a drop-down box here, and I can say View Form Submissions. So then I can see that it takes me, so I'm still inside of my app. So I'm not on my onboarding site where I added this app. I'm buried inside of this Flex Forms app. So now if I click New Item in here, see that doesn't look like my form though. So that's a little confusing, right? So it takes me and shows me that it's a list, but it doesn't, like where would the end users go fill it out? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go browse back up to HR onboarding, and I'm just going to mess with the home page here because it's just a test site. And what you have to do is you have to put it on the page as a web part. So I have to go to my apps here, and I have to pick Flex Form right here. So for people to be able to use this form, they're not going straight to the list to fill it out like they would and go, click on a bunch of items in a list and, fill out or edit it. They're just filling it out in a web part. So that's kind of a negative, I think. So we have to go into the web part settings. And, I mean, it's a little confusing, but again, it's free. So I have to go Employee of the Year, Save and Apply. And then I'll go ahead and click OK. And now it's showing me let me stop editing here. So it's got my Employee of the Year nomination. So another problem with this is that it cuts it off because remember there were more fields down here. So even when I take this whole web part and move it over here, it's still, when I go and try and fill it out, it cuts it off. So what I ended up having to do was go into the web part settings, and so right now it's set to no for the height and width. So I actually changed this to, I can go widen this one too, 600 or something. And I had to go change the height and width in the web part settings, which gave me, so see it made it longer, but again I probably need to make it wider too to show the whole thing. So that's just something to keep in mind, is that once you put it on the page, you still have to go probably edit the way it looks. So now let's go fill one out and see what happens. So you can see the little example, the little sample text I put in there. So Laura, I'm going to make myself employee. No, I'm not going to make myself employee of the month. I'll just say, I'll just pick Tavis. There we go. Tavis, you're the employee of the month. You're in IT. He's awesome.
Just keep in mind that Laura is the manager of all of us, so she almost made herself employee of the month while we watched.
That's true. I am your manager. So Tavis, you are now officially employee. Oh, that's employee of the year. Sorry. Whoa, that's huge, Tavis. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Someone's getting a bonus.
This Jay just keeps getting better.
He's like, I didn't even do anything. And then,
I bet he even gets a special parking place too.
and then I agree. I don't think that browse. I don't think that's required. That little email must be specified. Okay, submit. So Jack is in the chat window. He says, this is what I want. I see that it's providing a small level of security. The end users can't get to the results. Then end users are only responsible for data entry. That's what it looks like. So then it says, thank you. And then when you click return to form, it takes you back. Now, you probably wouldn't want to put this on your home. So right now I put this on the home page of my site. So to be able to use this solution. Now, Jack, I don't know if people if they're going to be able to go to Flex Forms. So you're talking about security and them not having access to it. But this doesn't. I mean, this is you're inside the app, so it doesn't really give you any. Okay, so there's your management permissions. Okay, so that's good to know. So you can go manage permissions, and you can go delete all your submissions too. And now Employee of the Year, it shows me that I've got one submission, so I can go click on it, or I can go view all my my submissions like this. But when I'm viewing my existing submissions, it's not showing me it in the pretty form at all. It's just a straight up just ugly SharePoint list. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you wanted to actually implement this, what you would need to do is probably go create a new page. So I'll go create, I'll do, not add an ad, but add a page. Let me just go to my, did they remove the add a page button recently in Office 365? Whatever, okay. Save pages. This is interesting. Okay, I must have created this as a project site, so that's why it doesn't have, the home page is not a wiki page and all that, so that's probably what it's all about. All right, so I'm going to go to my site pages library and create a new, I'll just create it as a web part page, and I'll say Bill new EOM Employee of the Month. All right, I'll put that in my site pages. So now it's on its own page. So then I would want to go put my flex form on here. And Jack says I also want to see an emulate user option for users of SharePoint for testing and stuff. That would be nice. I haven't seen any with that. All right, so now this is on its own page, and this is where I would want to go. Do Employee of the Year, and then also do all that stuff with the width and height too. So let's see, I'll go height. So what you're going to want to do is, so I created a custom page, and I just put that one form on it. So with custom web part page, you can do this little title bar properties thing. I can say, like it says, title is new EOM, employee of the month. Oh, by the way, we're having a snow day today. I live in Alabama, and all my kids, my entire family is home right now, so I'm not really at work right now. So just FYI. Okay, so now we have this custom page. So what you would need to do is just take, just take this page that you're on. Let me see, site pages new eom.aspx. That's the page I just created, and I just copied that URL. So what I would want to do is go to my home page, HR onboarding home page, and I'll probably just want to go add it to my, to my shortcuts, to my quick links, quick launch, whatever. So go to site settings and go to quick launch, or I can put it on the top link bar. And so I just basically just copied that new link to to that custom page, and I'm just saying new navigation link, and I'm putting it in here and saying new, let's see, employee of the year form. I keep calling it. I keep mixing up employee of the year and employee of the month. Like that, and then what do I put it under? Whatever. Let's see. Okay. So now I've made this. I'm going to take it off the home page real quick. So now instead of having to stick it on the home page, I can make them feel like they're going to a list, right? So they can feel like they're going, they're going to a separate page to fill out this form. So I'm on my home page and I can go and click Employee of the Year form, and now that's where they would fill this form out. And I'll just stick you in there, Stephen. I'm going to have to do one for Ryan and Kevin now too, but so let's see what is it going to make me fill out. Unfortunately, the required fields don't show as required on the form. But I mean, I guess you could type a little asterisk or something on there or something like that. Yeah. So now that's been submitted, and then whoever's in charge of it would go to Flex Forms, which takes you to that takes you inside of the app. And now I've got 2 Employee of the Year forms. Let's go see if permissions looks exactly the same as what. Ooh, I don't have access. So I am a full control, like, owner of the entire Office 365, owner of the site collection, owner of everything, like Office 365 admin, SharePoint full control admin, everything I could possibly have, and I cannot get to the permissions page. So that's interesting. So manage permissions takes me to access denied, and what if I do view form submissions and I go to the permissions this way? Ooh, interesting. So yeah, so it makes it look like you can manage permissions, but I'm not sure what that's all about. Maybe that's a bug in their app, because you also don't have any list settings up here for this list inside of their app as well. It looks like it's got workflow settings, but I think what they want you to do if you're doing a workflow is do the little, like, submit to a list or submit to a list and email, that little option that they had. And so let's go back and see where that was. That was, I'll just go click on the form. Now also notice that this is only the new form. So it doesn't give you the ability to do 3 different, like a new form, an edit form, and a display form. This is just the new form, and then once they've submitted it, you're looking at just like a regular old plain SharePoint list behind the scenes. So for something that's got like multiple levels of approval or something, that could get awkward because you don't have access in the pretty front end to the existing items or anything like that in here. So what we had was for submission here, it was submit to list, submit to email, or submit to list and email. And then you would just put submission email addresses, submission viewers. Oh, look at that. That's what it is. That's the permissions. So I put people's names in the submission viewers box to give them permission to see the submitted items. Okay, so that's what they've purposely done that. They've locked down their app so that you can't actually go straight to manage permissions. You have to put people in here. So that's interesting. All right, and then so I'm trying to spend half an hour on this one and half an hour on the other one. But real quick, if I go back to, I'm just going to close this. If I do create a new form, it just basically gives me a big blank slate, and I can go just drag a heading, drag a list of stuff, put my single line of text box, multiple line of text box. So it could get very messy because it's not, it doesn't have like a table in here, I don't think. So you just have to be cognizant of trying to align stuff with each other, But at least it's free form, and at least you can put fields next to each other. So any questions about this one? This is called Flex Forms, and it's free. It's a free app in the App Store. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my HR onboarding site, and another app that I put in here was Ardevia. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I started with Ardevia Rich Forms free, and I noticed that there were a few things that you couldn't do in the free version, that it said go ahead and get the pro version to be able to do these things. So I'll go ahead and go over kind of all the stuff that it gives you in the free version and the stuff that you get with the pro version and what the difference is, just from my quick, 20 minutes or whatever, trying it out. The pro version I put in here as a 30-day trial, so I'm not going to go actually buy it, but I'm sure it costs some money. I'm not sure. I have no idea how much it actually costs once you go beyond the trial. So once I created this app, this one's kind of nice because it lets you, actually I'm not going to go into the free one. I'm just going to go straight into the pro one, and then I'll just point out the stuff that you couldn't do in the free version. That way I don't have to go back and forth. But it's taken a second. This one is nice because it gives you the ability to modify a form that already exists, in your site. I mean, you don't have to get taken to a whole separate app for that. So let me go ahead and go to the back to my HR onboarding site, and I'll go to the pro one. So I created these new lists here because I managed to completely break my original new hires list that I was using for this demo. I think I put so many different form products on it that I broke the whole form. So I created this new hires 2 and new hires 3. So let me show you what I did real quick. This is nice because it gives you probably, you'd only want to have one of these, but it gives it to you in the ribbon. So you just go into your regular SharePoint list just like you would with InfoPath, and you have the Customize button. So I would go customize this form like this, and I could go to the default new form. So let's see if I think I already customized it. So I click new item, and all right, and so what it did was it let me, I'll just go fill this out real quick. All I did really was I put some tabs in here. So unfortunately it started off with the last tab, so that would be a negative, but I'll just say put Ryan in here. Blah, blah, blah. And then there isn't really a way to do a next button, so we'll dig into that though. But so what is his new role? He's going to be the chef in the food department.
Grilled cheese for everyone.
And then I got to put myself in here. Okay, so then employee type, company, stuff like that. And then I'll go ahead and hit save. And then I only customize the new form. So now when I go and open the existing one, this is just a regular old SharePoint list. So with this one, you actually customize the new form, display form, and edit form as 3 separate things, which is nice. I kind of like that, but it is a little bit extra work. So when I go into any list, I can just go straight to the customize forms thing, or when I go into the app, it actually will show me the list of stuff that I've customized, and it's even got a major new update. They said they've got an editable grid. And they've got it's a related list thing, so that's really cool. And look at this, it's lit up. So it shows me I've customized new hires 2, and I've customized the new form, but not any of the other ones. So I wonder what that more thing is. That could be interesting. So I'm going to customize form, and I'm going to go to my new hires 3 one, which is just there's absolutely nothing about it that's customized yet. So I'll go show you kind of what this experience looks like. And again, this is live. Feel free to add comments or questions as we go. All right, so it's pulling up the design surface here. So this is a little more plain looking than the other one. So it's got a lot of good bonus features that I like, that with more functionality, but it's just not as pretty as the other one because it doesn't give you like the ability to just have this surface where you can have a background color and you can drag things wherever you want them. So it's showing grid lines, but what I've noticed is I don't see a way to actually insert any kind of other columns. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have, like, it lets you add tabs. Like that's what I did with the other one. I added tabs to the top of the form. And it lets you insert a sublist, which is if you have a related list. it lets you, it just sticks it at the bottom of the page. So that's huge, like related tasks and any other related lists. So that's a really big thing that people ask for all the time. And then it just doesn't seem like it gives you a way to do anything with this as a table. You see what I'm saying? So like I can take this field and drag it over to make it a little smaller, but I can't, like if I take first name, see, it only lets me snap it to right above or right below it. It doesn't let me put it next to it. So then I could take this field and I can say, I don't want to reset that one to default. I think I found a button earlier that said, oh, there we go. I just uncheck the width box and it just put it back. Okay, so let's just go over some of the stuff that it does do. So the first thing I was tempted to do was try and arrange things in a table and put first name next to last name. I can go in here and like delete the full name field. I can delete stuff that I don't necessarily want them filling out on a new form. So in this case, I don't, you know, fax number, like who's going to have a fax number, and so some stuff like that. So I can go delete some fields that I don't need to show on the new form. It's just really easy this way. And like I don't want attachments. And then each field that I select, what can I do with that field? So I can do the height and width and padding and things like that on that one. I can also change it to only display. So set the selected form field to only display mode so it cannot be edited. So look at that. So that's kind of nice. So like for my status that I have here, that's something that I don't want people changing. I just want them to see that the default status is new and see it and not be able to edit it. So that's huge. And then I've got hiring manager. You know, that's something that I would definitely want to make a probably just make it a required field just like you would do any other required field in your list. It's also got this nice little toolbar functionality here. Insert a toolbar into the form. So let me get rid of this tabs thing since I kind of already showed you that. Let me see. Let me get rid of this tabs thing and put a toolbar in here. So that gives you, like, you can have your save and your cancel button at the very top, and then you can insert. Now the save and the cancel buttons are available with the free version apparently, but if you want it to do any specific actions that are other than save and cancel, that's going to be with the pro version. Okay, and then all this behavior stuff is really cool, but everything in the behavior section is completely grayed out if you have the free version, and you can only do any of this stuff in the pro version. So like, let's see if I can make, like, hiring manager, let's see if it's going to let me make this default to whoever the logged in user is. That's kind of a it's kind of a more advanced functionality, but I think it gives me the ability to do that. So I can, oh, so this is nice. So I can set, it's not as pretty and easy to understand as with InfoPath, where you just say if this, then a checkbox that's show or hide. It's like you're still using logic though. So you basically have to go figure out like if this field is greater than something, then show it. So it's a visibility condition. So this visible thing is going to be, you pick your field and you say equals to, equals or greater than or whatever, some value, and then that makes it visible. Okay, so we'll play with that in a second. But let me see if I can do this hiring manager thing and make it, so initial defines a value the selected field should initially have on the form when creating a new item. So initial, I want it to be the currently logged in user, because usually it's going to be a, you know, the hiring manager is filling out the new hire form, right? So user, ooh, look at this. So I've got all this user stuff. Carlos says, does it maybe let you insert a table where you can have multiple columns to put fields next to each other or insert graphics? We'll dig around and see if the table is in there for us to insert. That's a good idea. We'll try that in a second. I didn't see that. I looked around a lot for that, and I couldn't find anything with inserting a table. Maybe we'll start with a new, well, this is kind of a new form. No, okay, yeah, we'll look at that. All right, so I have these context objects. So look at this. It's got user. This is going to be the currently logged in user. Email ID is member of group. Ooh, that is huge. That's something that people always want to do in InfoPath, right? They want to say if somebody's in the group, you know, managers or something, then let them see this or do this. So that's awesome. I like that. It's member of group. Now it's very sort of raw the way you're editing this stuff. You know, just using, you know, having to type it in with expressions. It's not like a pretty UI, but it's cool if the functionality's in there. And then I've got profile. Oh my gosh, look at this. I can get to all their profile properties in there, all the stuff about the currently logged in user. And then I've got web. I've got information about what language they're using, the URL of the site, is it a display form, is new form, etc. And then stuff about the page. Ooh, I can do query strings in here. Cool. So I have access to get to query string information here. So for what I was trying to do for this one is the default value should be the login name. I'll just click on login name. Let's see. There we go. User.login name. I had to double click it. So I want the default value to be user.login name. And then you can do a required expression. So it's not just required or not required. It's required according to some certain condition, and validation is going to be like validation text, like if you have the ability to, like if it needs to be a phone number or something. Carlos says, does it have manager in the profile? Let's go back and look at that. I'll go dig into one of these. Context objects, user, and then profile. Manager, yep, there it is. Yep, it's got manager. Zarpa says, can you export data in Excel? Yes, every SharePoint list and library you can export that to Excel. So I'm not sure. It's not really related to this form product though, because this is already a SharePoint list, and all SharePoint lists have that on the list tab at the top, the ability to export to Excel. All right, so hiring manager default, and then hiring status I set it to you know, be just read only. And then, let's see, I can do calculations in here. So you could do a calculation that will happen. Now, the thing about calculated fields in SharePoint is that calculation happens after someone has clicked to submit it, you know, actually save the item into SharePoint. Then you can see the calculated value. This says this will dynamically recalculate when editing the form. That way you can see it like as people are typing in, they're going to be able to see what their calculation is going to be. So like, I can take, let me go insert, I'm going to go to Rich Forms and get my full name field. And let's see, move this up. I want full name to dynamically show the concatenation of the first name and last name. So let's try that. Because I was doing that via workflow, but if I can just do it with a little rule in here, that's kind of nice. So I'll go to my function. It says this field will be calculated using the following. So I'm going to go first name, original value, and then I wonder if I just put last name right after it, space, and a last name. So I'm not sure what the syntax is really. First name, space, oops, every time I put a, what is it doing? This is kind of last name. Oh, the last name is called the title field. That's why it's, because that was the original name of the last name field. Okay. So let's see if that works. I'm going to go ahead. So how do I, you know, if I'm done editing my form, so I'll go ahead and save that, and let's see if that makes it go live. I don't think I have to go publish it or anything. So now I click New Item. And look at that. It's not gorgeous or anything, but let's see. Look at Hiring Manager. I'm pointing at my screen like you can't see me, but a Hiring Manager shows my name, so that's kind of nice. So I'm going to go Kevin. No, it didn't do the full. I probably just did the syntax wrong on that full name box. I'm not sure what it was supposed to be, but we'll have to go figure that out. But it does look like it filled this in like I wanted it to, and it made this read-only. So it's kind of ugly. It looks just like a plain old white form, but at least, you know, it's got all that cool functionality you can do. So one thing, another thing that I was trying to do in here is, so now I only customized the new form, so now it's just an ugly form if I go look at the existing one. Another thing I was trying to do in here was that other one where I created the tabs across the top, like this, was, first of all, it defaults to the third tab, the last tab, unfortunately. I wanted it to not only default to the first tab, but I would like to have a button that says next to go between the tabs so they don't have to know to go click these. So that would be the next thing to go try. So I'm going to go to my Pro version over here, and I'm just going to go edit the new form some more. New hires 3. And I'm going to go look for that tables thing that you were talking about, whoever that was. Let's see. Carlos. All right, so we've got field, group. So the cool thing about the groups that it gives you in here, vertical groups. So maybe we can do a vertical group. What is a vertical group? Let's see. Vertical group is, it doesn't give you like a table that you're editing, but maybe this vertical group thing will let me put things next to each other. I'm not sure what a vertical group is. Vertical group. That's odd. I don't know.
I think the horizontal group will be the one that'll let you put them next to each other. That's what it looks like when you scroll over it.
Vertical. I was thinking vertical, like they're vertically lined up, but you're right. Horizontal group's probably the one. Horizontal group. I wonder if I can put a group inside of a group too. So where did it put the horizontal group?
It's, yeah, right there. Yeah.
Oh, is that it? Let's see. Did it put it at the bottom? No. Maybe it put it in there. I don't know. Let me get rid of that. Oh, look, there it is. So there are my 2 horizontal groups, and then so I can put. Now, how do I put something next to each other? Put another horizontal group next to it. Let's see. The whole point would be to be able to put stuff next to each other. Group with header. That's good. That's useful. Let's see. No, I don't know. That's very awkward. So, yeah. Still didn't look like it was giving me the ability to put something next to each other, but that's kind of why I wanted to try this without necessarily having training on it, to be able to kind of see what the interface was going to look like. So maybe you can do these horizontal groups and put and line stuff up next to each other. Let me see if I can drag that.
Did you drag anything into the horizontal group?
No. Let me see if it lets me do that. Okay, when I do that, it's funky. I don't know about that. Yeah, undo. Oh, I don't know if it undid.
The only reason I think it might be possible is whenever you scroll over the horizontal group, the little icon for it has 2 like little fields right next to each other.
Yeah,
I think it would.
That's odd.
But maybe it takes some finagling.
So that's the really kind of, basically maybe that's possible. So you get to move stuff up and down here too, without having to drag it if you wanted to do that. The lock contents is nice. So you can put a container, one of these groups in here, and then just say lock everything in there. It's going to disable everything inside of that little group that you've created. So that would be the purpose of putting groups in here, so that you can have like your approval section or whatever to lock the contents, and then you could even do, like, it sounds like you could probably do a behavior group to say, you know, once this form's submitted, when you're on the edit form version of it, then you only can see this, you know, approval group if you're in the manager SharePoint group. So that would be really nice to have. So let me move this. Another thing real quick is I was going to play with this whole button with actions thing and show you what they give you. So here's the action builder. So what I was really trying to do is I wanted to put an action in here that would let me flip between tabs because I wanted to have like a next button that would go to the next tab. So you give your action a name. You can give your action a condition. So this looks just like the little condition builder that we were looking at a minute ago. But then what kind of action is it? So these are all the things that are available. Add list item, delete list item, execute script. So that could be nice for those of you who are developers who have some just little snippet of code that you want it to do. HTTP request. So I guess that could go off to, what could that request, guys? What's like something people would want to do an HTTP request to? Like something in SharePoint or something in a database, or what do you think that would be for? URL, you give it a URL and oh, it's a get put, one of those. So yeah, HTTP request, that's more of a programmer thing. Open a list form, so that lets you pick a completely, another list and another form if you want to do that. Ooh, and you can pass a query string to it. Oh, that's nice. So I can say, this list, this form, open it with this query string passed to it. That is really helpful. That's something that people try to do all the time with, using SharePoint Designer and InfoPath and stuff like the InfoPath form web parts lets you pass query strings to it. But that is really nice that it will let you just click a button that will open the new form with the query string. So that way if you have like related items, like something like if I wanted to have go create an associated, I don't know, task or something like that, I could click a button that would not only open up the new task form, but it would send a query string to it and even open, say open in a modal dialog or whatever I wanted to do. So that way you could send the information about the item that you're on through the query string to the other new item form. But I believe that the other form has to probably be customized with this product. So like if I go to like workflow tasks, let's see, HR onboarding, this is all in the same, probably has to be in the same site collection. If I say I want to open workflow tasks, and oh look, so it just gives me display form, edit form, new form, so that's nice. So then I can pick a content type and then say what value is going to be my query string. So like the ID of this item could be the query string to be sent to this other form, but then the other form has to be set up to be able to receive that query string, right? So that probably would take a lot more. Like when I got to this more advanced type stuff when I was demoing K2, I just kind of stopped and I said, well, at least you guys know that it exists and that this kind of stuff is possible. This one's just a little, not as much of a pretty polished user interface as K2 was with this type of stuff, but at least it's, I guess maybe it's a cheaper way to get some of the stuff done where you have more of a clunky interface. So according to what condition, do something. So open a web page, redirect, reload the page, save it, send an email, show a message. So I like the ability to show a message. So like when somebody submits a new form, it'll say like your form has been submitted, and you can even put fields from inside of the form to show in the text. So that's kind of nice. So you can show a little dialog box and even say what size it needs to be and everything for a new form being submitted. That's cool. Very cool. All right, so those are some of the actions. Oh, kick off a workflow, that's a good one. Those are some of the actions that are available with buttons in here with the pro version of this. But none of these custom action type things are available with the free version. Let's see. The free version is more about like having some cool stuff like having a toolbar and having sections, but just no logic behind it. So, yeah. Let's see what else. First name, last name. What else do we have in here? Again, this is for like in a container, locking the contents in it. And uncustomize the form if you want to change your mind. And then all this behavior stuff is basically whatever field you have selected, that's what the behavior is going to be related to. I wonder if we have like a form load concept or anything like that in here. I don't see. So this is define expression when the selected element is to be enabled. if left empty, the element is always enabled. Select visible expression to define when it should be visible. Oh, here we go. Defines a value. Okay, so that's just like a default value if you want to be dynamic. That's a calculation that you want it to do. And then that's a required expression. So I kind of went all over. Now actions is going to be if you, so we can we do actions on a list item? I don't think we can do actions on like a field. I don't think we can do actions on a field. I think we have to do actions on like a button. Interesting. All right. I don't see any other questions in there. Let me see. So what I have to do next is let me get rid of this little empty thing here. Oh, also I think that you get the ability to move stuff around. So between sections, like I can take last name and click next to it and say I want to move it to, and then you can have like your different groups and stuff that exist. I like the tabs. Let me put the tabs back in here and see if I can figure out what I was trying to do earlier with being able to like default to a certain tab. So like I can call this, oh, where'd it go? Oh, that's kind of funky. I just clicked away from it and it disappeared. Tabs, double click on it, contact info, and then I add another tab that's got like this new position. I have like 4 minutes left, and this is kind of clunky because like if I'll start typing something, it kind of randomly jumps around on the screen and stuff. So I don't know if just kind of a little annoyance there. You can tell that I'm spending a lot. It seems like I'm spending a lot more time on this demo than I was on the other one, but the other one really was just a new form, and it didn't have. It didn't have like anything having to do with any kind of logic or any, editing multiple forms or anything like that. So I guess there was just really less to demo, but I think I did split it in half, like half an hour for each one. So you would just, if you create tabs, you just basically drag the fields into, so if I'm on contact info, I have to drag the field into contact info like this. And then once I flip over to new position, see I didn't drag email address in, I thought I did, then I would drag these into the new position one. But the problem is it didn't give me, like, it just, when I had created a third tab, it just defaulted to the third tab. I don't know, so maybe you have to put them in the right position so that all the stuff you want them to do first is in the last tab. That's kind of awkward. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and that was kind of fun. As for next week, I'm teaching my SharePoint Power user class all week that I do, once every month or so, sharepoint.rackspace.com/training. So I will not be here, so hopefully one of you guys will be doing a demo of something. And then I think the week after that probably we have another Forms demo. There's a form product called Forms 7 that's on CodePlex. That's a free one, and that Mark Rackley created. And we're going to do sort of the same demo concept, but it's a free product, and he created it himself, and he's a friend of mine, so we're going to let him come join us and can chat about it. Cool. All right, I guess we don't have any more questions. Thanks, guys, for looking at our Forms demos, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Over and out.